DC's been making some really good comic book-based TV shows in the past few years, and it's hard to challenge it as champion. But there have been so many issues concerning DC in the past decade or so when they try to get their cinematic universe off the ground. But much more recently, DC has enjoyed lots of success concerning its recent TV shows. And with that, we present to you our top picks for DC shows ranked from worst to best. Number 6, Human Target. No one here has probably even heard of the show Human Target or even heard about the comic series. Well, it didn't really take off when it aired back in 1992, and we can't blame DC as the show only aired for around 7 episodes. The show basically didn't get a good amount of screen time to really stand out and make an impression upon its viewers, and even though it had 7 episodes under the table for viewers to watch and enjoy, it still failed to make a substantial impression upon its viewers. The show aired on ABC during the summer season. The show never really felt like a comic book show, but felt more basic and uninteresting. It very much needed a superhero touch that would signal that the show was from a comic book series in a market that was completely saturated with crime and detective shows in the era of the 1990s. A big reason why the show couldn't make the impression that it needed to was because the oddly misplaced main protagonist that had spent the majority of his time off screen instead of being the focus of the show. The comic book series did have a lot of potential that it could have embedded into the live action show, but it's sad to see that the show couldn't fully realize the potential of the comic book series. 5. Batwoman. Like the Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman hasn't been doing very well in an era that has been saturated with superhero-based shows. While some fans could pin the show's rocky start as the culprit, things haven't improved as it progressed. It's clear to us that there's something really wrong here, as the show had been given a low 3.4 rating on IMDb. The DC series has to deal with a lot. It was based on the character created by Grant Morrison, Greg Rucka, and Keith Giffen. While people argued that the show replaced the red-headed Barbara Gordon for an entirely different Batwoman by the name of Kate Kane, we don't really see a problem in ethnic diversity when it comes to a female superhero lead. But some fans argue that it's not about ethnic diversity and more about the fact that the mantle of the Batwoman particularly belongs to Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Commissioner Gordon, and would play a much better role and pay homage to the original lore of the Batman franchise. The show presents us with the first year of Kate Kane's life as the Batwoman as she tries to protect Gotham City from her evil sister by the name of Alice. Her Batwoman costume and attire look exceptional, and her curly hair is awesome, and what's interesting is that they're adding a lot to the lore, but it's still not enough to lure people in to sit down and watch the show. Maybe the show will find some footing sometime in the future, but it's not really cutting it for as of now. Number 4, Superboy. The show Superboy aired from 1988 to 1992 and was given mixed reviews during and after its airtime. The show's been given a mediocre IMDb rating of 6.2. The DC series Superboy had to deal with a really strange problem that most shows really don't have to deal with ever. The show's main cast and members were replaced exactly after the first season, and that made things really awkward for the fans and viewers to keep up with. While the replacement of secondary characters was pretty weird on its own, things went stranger as both Superboy and Lana Lang were also recast, as well as to make matters even stranger. The series was a strange and mediocre addition to the Man of Steel's legacy and was the last breath of air of the Alexander and Ilya Salkind era in Superboy life that debuted with the release of 1978 Superman. But Superman didn't disappear from the small screen, as further shows were remade following the 1988 Superboy show. A year after the show had ended, the New Adventures of Superman debuted in 1993. Number 3, Pennyworth. The DC show Pennyworth set in a time somewhere between the 1960s and 1960s, but it isn't quite like the 50s and 60s that we know and are accustomed to. Pennyworth centers on the life and the events of Batman Bruce Wayne's butler, Alfred Pennyworth, and how his life led to the moment where he became the billionaire Bruce Wayne's accomplice and helping him set up the myth and legend of Batman. Alfred spends his years as a former British soldier and works as a part-time bouncer, as well in hopes of saving up enough money to start up his own private security company. But things don't seem so well for him as he has to go through many leaps and bounds as things take a turn for the worse and problems are set up for him. Alfred was already dealing with a lot in his life, and to stir things up, he got involved with a group known as the Raven Society that was trying to overthrow the British government. Alfred does his best to stop the Raven Society and tries to stop them by interfering with their plans and sabotaging them. Compared to our previous mentions, DC did something right here, as the show had been positively received overall by critics and fans and has received an IMDb rating of 8, which is pretty good by anyone's standards. The show has currently aired its first season, which consists of around 10 episodes, and the second season is currently being filmed now. Number 2, Doom Patrol. The show is based on Grant Morrison's take on one of the strongest teams ever that has made it to the small screen by the name of Doom Patrol. It consists of a weird cast of team members and superheroes that haven't seen a lot of screen time before. Doom Patrol is the second original DC series that had aired on the DC Cinematic Universe's very own streaming service. Despite the weird cast and the weird team, the show was a complete hit with many fans and critics, and it features a strange cast of superheroes featuring the likes of Robot Man, Elastigirl, Negative Man, and Crazy Jane, which have made it to the live-action scene for the first time in their comic book run. There's also a special guest star, and superhero becomes a part of the team, and most of us know and love him, and his name is Cyborg, who seems to be taking the spotlight from his Teen Titans teammate, the Beast Boy. We hope to see more from Cyborg and Beast Boy when it comes to the friendship and chemistry that has been polarized by the animation Teen Titans show. The first season of the Doom Patrol starred the famous Alan Tudyk, who played the role of Mr. Nobody, which gives the actor the prestige and honor of being listed twice. The second season of the show is supposed to air on the DC Universe's very own streaming platform, but it's also going to make its way onto HBO Max as well. But it's still not clear to us which of these streaming platforms will have to wait to get their hands on the new season and the new episodes of the Odd franchise that has been a phenomenal hit for this year with a respectable IMDb rating of 8. Number 1, Lucifer. Lucifer is a series that has been based on the Vertigo series that basically spun out Neil Gaiman's Sandman. The show has been pretty popular with many fans and people who have not yet seen the show but have heard about it. Lucifer initially aired on Fox Entertainment before it was moved over to Netflix's for a final season that was in the works, but there might be a final season anymore as the show has continued and picked off where it left off from. The show follows Lucifer as he decides to resign from his position as the king of hell and moves down to earth to the heart of Los Angeles, where he decides to open up a nightclub. The show features Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer Morningstar, and Lauren German plays detective Chloe Decker. It's safe to say that Lucifer has been well received by critics and fans, and it currently stands as the highest rated series that DC has produced to date, and it has been well received by IMDb as well with a staggering 8.2 rating. Fans love the show and give it much praise that it deserves, and even bugging producers for more seasons. And that's pretty much it for our DC shows ranked from worst to best. Make sure to like this video if you liked it, leave a dislike if you dislike it, and tune in later for further videos. We upload daily content, so make sure to look up on our channel every now and then. With all that said, we hope you have a great day. Goodbye and take care.